Trump versus America's slavery. America's dark past would keep it from a bright future. With that being said, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to the Most High, Yahawah, and His only begotten Son, YAHAWASHI. The honor says elders at Great Millstone. Our elders at Great Millstone who rule well, sing honor to the elect, peace and blessings to the 1/3, and to the confusion of faces in the four corners of the earth. Shalom. Trump has been critical of the Smithsonian Museum, claiming that it's too woke. Now, let's get an understanding real quick. Before we get into this, let's understand where woke comes from, all right? Follow me really quick. All right, so the term woke. I'm not going to even read all of this. You can always type in woke culture started. Click on the show more. It said right here, early 20th century. The term woke or stay woke was used in the black community, which would be Judahites, Jake, or also FBA 100 community to signify awareness of racial injustice and potential harm. Folk singer Hootie Ledbetter, also known as Lead Belly, used it in his song Scottsboro Boys in 1938, y'all, to warn people to be aware of the potential for racist violence in the South. So, Salaki, forgive me for hitting the mic if you heard that. So, understand the origin of woke comes from us already being on code, coming out of the Emancipation Proclamation. All those damn lynchings. Look at it's a book called Without Sanctuary. Okay, they used to lynch us, and then they would send postcards. That's where the origin of the postcards come from. When people say, "Oh, wish you was here" or "out on vacation," that really was used for them celebrating when they used to hang us or have picnics. And also from that time up until what Jim Crow, which was a joke, but then they literally turned it into laws. Like you can't drink from the same water fountain, despite the fact the water comes from the same pipes. Like yeah, all of that. Red line and segregation all the way up until now. So woke has always been just Jake being aware of whom thy enemy was. That's it. When we were segregated, that was the best thing for us. When we integrated, it was the worst thing for us. Okay? But anyway, so woke pretty much meaning, oh, that's spiritual too. It also reminds me of a scripture. Give me a moment. Pardon me, I accidentally stopped the video. But here's the scripture I was looking for. This right here, think about it. Us being woke is also in corresponding with this scripture. Isaiah 25 and 7. And he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people and the veil that is spread over all nations. Real quick, again it says, and this Isaiah 25 and 7, and he will destroy in this mountain. Mountain and hills in the Bible also synonymous with larger nations and smaller nations. Understand? So in this mountain, talking about the nation, all right, of Israel, the face of the covering cast over all people. Remember, when you read in Revelation, it says Satan was bound, the devil, Satan was bound for 1,000 years, and it was loose for a little while to confuse the nations. I think that's exactly what it says, for a short time. That goes back to what? The covering cast over all people. And who was the one to categorize everybody based upon ethnicities? Johann F. Racist Johann F. Blumenbach, and he was a white Edomite supremacist. Understand? So that's heavy. And the veil that is spread over all nations. When Moses went up to Mount Sinai at the top for like 40 days. Come on, 10 commandments, y'all, for 40 days and 40 nights. It was over 600 some commandments, y'all. Come on. So when he came back down, because remember the scripture says, wisdom maketh the man face to shine. He had to cover his face with the veil. Right? So, in other words, us being woke, meaning we're being enlightened. I think it was in a Willie Lynch letter. He said, we have found how to take the light from the slave. Remember that. They found how to take the light from the slave. So it's a lot. It's a lot right now. I'm going in my head, but let me get to this right here because my mind started going to places. Let me get to this right here. This is from Donald Trump. I think this is on either Twitter or X. Y'all, I don't have no social media so YouTube. Yes, I'm alive. The museums throughout Washington, but all over the country, are essentially the last remaining segment of woke. What? Because what do museums resemble? History, artifacts, right? So it's America's history. The relationship between Jake, so-called Negro Latinos and Native Americans, and Esau, the Europeans, who will also be known as the Edomites in the Bible, so-called Negro Latinos and Native Americans are the Israelites. The relationship between these two people, Jacob and Esau, has always been tumultuous. It goes back to when they were fighting in the womb. We're always going to be fighting till YAHAWASHI comes back. So how can we sit here and talk about any good relationships we've ever had with them over the centuries? Okay, so let's get back to it. The Smithsonian is out of control, where everything discussed is how horrible our country is. Factual, how horrible our country is, how bad slavery was, and how unaccomplished the downtrodden have been. Is that a lie? Is that a lie? Like taking the biggest slave, the strongest slave, beating him damn near to death, tarring him, feathered him, tying both his ankles to two different horses. Then you light them on fire, you whip the horses and rip them apart. Was that a good time? Using our children as gator bait, was that a good time? Raping our wives and then return them back, man. Now I'm getting upset. But understand what I'm saying? And how unaccomplished the downtrodden have been. What are you talking about? Since we came up out of slavery, the Emancipation, the Proclamation, all we said was, man, leave us alone. We're gonna go make our own little enclaves. We're gonna do our own thing. Remember, y'all, this is around 1865. 1885, we had historically black universities, Judah. Reading Latin, Greek, all that. You gotta understand the history, understand the mystery, like Elder Pascal Bar said. So think about when the Great Depression happened, from 1920 all the way up to like 35 or whatever. Yo, Tulsa, Oklahoma happened in 1921. We was not going through what the fuck they were going through. They were jealous. They were jealous. That kind of remind me of Cain and Abel. They ain't do it right. They put all their money in the banks. Esau stole their money. They had the Dust Bowl. We had the Black Freedmen Bank. We had doctors, lawyers. We had schools. We had general stores, pharmacies. We literally had our own neighborhoods. Like how they had their own suburbs. We had that, man. Esau, them, man, they literally dropped bombs on us. Came in with the army and everything. KKK, all of them massacred. And we still got survivors today that try to get reparations and they denied them. What are you talking about? See, that's why you want this shit gone. It reminds you of who you are. Like Michael Jackson said, the man in the mirror. You don't want to look at the man in the mirror. It's a reason why a lot of these people wear glasses. Wayne said he ain't got no mirrors in his house. They be oozing, like Elder Apostle Ram, I said, them demons just be oozing up off them. Anyways, going back, this is what I want to bring out. Zechariah chapter 11, verse 4 through 5. Thus saith the Lord my God, feed the flock of the slaughter. Who? So-called Negro Latinos and Native Americans. Feeding with what? Knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. But remember, prophecy is primary. Verse 5. Whose possessors slay them. Slavery, right? And hold themselves not guilty. He trying to get rid of the past. Hey, what's another example of no reparations? Now, People, you can talk about how they gave millions to Mexico for California. You can talk about how they paying the natives now. But who was the number one tribe out of all 12 tribes that always gave Esau fucking hell? Judah. So yeah, they gave natives reparations. They gave the Japanese reparations. They gave the Italians reparations because they had some of the Italians down there in Louisiana too, and they actually hung some of them. But they paid Italy back for that for reparations. Whenever they went to war with the Europe, guess what they created? The Marshall Plan. The Marshall Plan was to what? To help restore Europe. Everybody else got reparations. We ain't get shit yet. Hell, even fucking Small Hats 1948 is over there. They getting reparations. But Jake ain't getting shit. Downtrodden. Let's go back to it. Zechariah chapter 11 verse 5. Whose possessors slay them and hold themselves not guilty. And they that sell them. Y'all, this is in the Bible. And they that sell them say, blessed be the Lord. That's in the Bible. So that means they know the name. But they don't teach it to you. That's heavy. Malachi 1 and 14. It said, the Lord said his name is dreadful to the heathen. Why do you think the heathen going to tell you the name when it's dreadful unto them? That's like a vampire telling you about garlic and what it does to him. Or hell, Samson speaking to the, what was it, Delilah from her name? I forgot her name. Speaking to the heir of that harlot, and then he losing his power, you know. But going back, it says, blessed be the Lord, for I am rich, and their own shepherds pity them not. Y'all understand, like it says in second Ezra, it says, what nation have not had a hand in their captivities? The entire world right now as we speak, the entire international commerce, the entire international stock exchange, all of that, y'all. Everything that's moving in this world, y'all, is happening because of slavery. The transatlantic slavery. Remember that. So I want to hear nothing about no other slavery. Ain't no other slavery on earth had the entire world benefit from it. Let that sink in. The entire world benefited from it. In the late 1800s, they said cotton was king. We supplied over 50% of the world during that time. And that was after the Emancipation Proclamation still. Because they still had slavery going on in Texas. Even though it was abolished, them devils still had our people in captivity. The movie 12 Years a Slave let you know. The ESAU was still trying to grab Jake and take him down south and sell him, man. Talking about the successes. What are you talking about? But that's what he said. Going back to his tweet or whatever this is. Nothing, and I will leave the link of the article in the description. Nothing but success. Nothing about brightness. Nothing about the future. Your days are appointed, sir. We are not going to allow this to happen. I have instructed my 20s to go through the museum and start the exact same process that has been with colleges and universities where tremendous progress has been made. So he doubling down. This country cannot be woke. In other words, these people cannot be enlightened. We want to keep them in the bread and circuses mindset. Eating and drinking and partying and skeeting. I'm just, I had to try to make a little light of it, but you understand what I'm saying? That's exactly what's going on in the world. Everybody just doing what everybody want to do. We're under the law of Thelma. As in Rome, doing Rome, right? But what did the Lord say? Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 14. I know that whatsoever God doeth, it shall be forever. Nothing can be put to it, nor anything taken from it. And God doeth it, that men should fear before him. It's forever what the Lord said he's going to do. But check this out, y'all. That which hath been is now, and that which is to be hath already been. And God required that which is past. Remember that. He required that which is past. When I opened this video, what did I say museums consist of? History and artifacts. They want to get rid of that. But what the Lord said, I'm going to need that. You're going to drink from that cup. Yeah? You're going to drink from that cup. And also, all that heaven and hell talk about after you die, hell no, that's a lie. This is the truth right here. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 16, the next verse. And moreover, I saw under the sun. Hey, whenever it's 12 noon, go outside, look up in the sky. Even if it's pouring down raining, you can still see the sun somewhere. Go up, go up. You have to look up. So that means you're under the sun, right? All right. So I had to say this so you can be a visionary. Ecclesiastes 3 and 16. And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment. So what does judgment happen, people? After you die, you go to hell, or no? It's here on earth. But reincarnation is something that you will have to understand as well. But that's another story. And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that wickedness was there, in the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there. So do understand, judgment happens here on earth. So Revelation 13 says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. With that being said, truly pray y'all was edified and fed. Stay in the spirit, don't fear it, just endure it. Ask for forgiveness, pray without ceasing, stay humble, remain diligent. Allah, Shalom.